Hi, I'm David D. Burstein. I'm 18, and I just directed my first documentary film, 18 in '08.
This next guy's barely old enough to pay taxes and just old enough to vote, but that hasn't stopped him from shaking up the political world.
David Burstein has done something remarkable.
19-year-old director David Burstein filmed the documentary 18 in '08.
He's created a documentary trying to convince his generation that its voice matters.
In the middle of a tight presidential race, documentary filmmaker David Burstein couldn't figure out why so few of his friends seemed to care.
Founder and executive director of 18in08.com, David Bernstein, joins us.
You spent about 3 years working on it.
Yeah.
Kind of missed a lot of normal, if you will, high school activities. Why'd you do it?
David Burstein, a filmmaker. What do you think, David? Who's going to vote and who's not going to vote, particularly among the young people?
We're going to be seeing a lot of young people turning out in record numbers, up at least 20-30%.
This one's being sponsored by 18 in '08, a movement encouraging young people to vote and get involved in politics.
Young people are engaged and excited. They want to be part of this process, and they want to gather in social environments like this to do things like watch the results of the Iowa caucuses.
They turn on Facebook and MySpace and YouTube, and the candidates are right there. So there's, I think, a sense of real access and direct connection.
By his own estimate, he's gotten 20,000 people to register to vote in less than a year. Not bad for an 18-year-old college freshman.
I've always been brought up to feel like I can make a difference and make a contribution, and we've done that.
As a high school junior, he set out to make a film for young Americans. The message? Your vote gives you power over politicians.
The cynicism, does it get in the way?
I think it does, and I think, and that's the biggest challenge that there is to getting more young people to vote, is telling people, look, I understand your cynicism. Too often we sort of say, how can you be cynical? And I think it's important to legitimize that and then say, let's work from there.
And how many interviews did you do for the documentary?
We did over 100 interviews, and these ranged from people like Jeb Bush, Joe Lieberman, to Richard Dreyfuss and Sam Donaldson, and students on the street.
Are people your age more Democratic than they are Republican?
Young people want to make their own decisions. They don't want to be pigeonholed into believing everything a party says, and I think it's going to change the way families and the way generations vote. It's not that we're not passionate people and not interested in the world around us. We are. It's just that politics doesn't seem to be the way for making a difference. Our generation is finally understanding in a lot of ways that we can play a role, we can make a difference.